17th and it is snowing like a bear outside, so I think it's time to tie some flies. So I'm going to tie a Shakey Bealy today. It's a real popular soft hackle up in Montana. I'm going to tie it on an MLO 53, size 10, pretty sturdy hook. For thread, I'm going to use Semperfli's waxed 8/0 and rust. And so let's get started here. So what I'll do is I'll start my thread right behind my eye and come back. I don't like to tie anything down on a bare hook. I don't know exactly why that is, I just don't. So I'm going to bring it back all the way to where my barb would have been. Take this off. And then the first thing I'm going to do is put in some crystal flash. This is just kind of a greenish crystal flash. I want to make sure all my ends are even on the front. So actually you want to measure this off the front. I want it to be about half a shank long. So I'll just hold it right here, give it a little wrap, a little soft wrap. Make sure everything's on top. Bring it all the way up to the eye. Looks pretty good. Okay, now the back I'm going to cut about the same length. Okay, so that's the first step, and then the next thing I'm going to do is tie in my my rib, and I'm just using some nylon brown waxed. I'm not even sure who makes it. And I'm going to go ahead and tie that in right here, pull it right to there, and I'm going to put this in on my side of the shaft because I'm going to counter wrap it. Alright, now for a tail, I'm just going to use mallard flank. You can use whatever you like, some sort of duck fibers, and I'm going to pull off a good little bit, probably 10-12 fibers there. I'm going to tie it in with that natural curve kind of going up. So I'm just going to put it on my side of the hook. 2 wraps, and now it's right on top. And that's good. I'm going to wrap these butt ends into my fly. Cut off the waist. Alright, bring my thread back, and I'm going to go ahead and dub this body, and I'm going to use some Beaver Plus, and the color is orange. And it's Hemingway's Beaver Plus, but it's got a little bit of flash in it. It's not just pure beaver dubbing. I guess that's the plus. As you can see, it's got just a little bit of UV in there. Okay, so I'm just going to start putting this on. I want to. It doesn't have to be really thin. It just needs to be tight, but not necessarily thin. I want it to have a pretty substantial little body on it. Okay, so let's try that. Can always put on more. Slide my dubbing noodle up. Use just a touch more. I have a friend that lives up in Big Sky, and he says this is a very popular fly up there. Okay, get my thread out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and counter wrap this with the brown rib. Okay, for a thorax, bright orange ostrich, I'm going to use 2 hurls. And then I want to take these hurls, I want to strip off bare stem at the bottom. So take your time. This isn't chicken hackle, so it's a lot more delicate. Just kind of use your thumbnail. Okay, and I'm going to tie these stems in at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to take what's left of the stems and fold them back. Hey, there we go. Pretty delicate stuff, so don't put a lot of pressure on it. In fact, I think I'll use a hackle plier here. All right. Okay, I probably could just snatch these out right here, but knowing my luck, it wouldn't work well. I do that a lot when nobody's watching. All right, now I'm going to take these crystal flash fibers back, do a couple of wraps. Okay, and I want those right on top, just about like that. Okay, now for a soft hackle, usually I use quail. I was just up in Ellensburg, and I got this bird skin. I usually use partridge, I'm sorry, and this is Coturix, or pharaoh quail. And there's a guy up there selling whole bird pelts and Ziploc bags full of borax. And this is the feather that I've chosen. It's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just prep it just like I would any soft hackle. This is a pretty heavily hackled fly, so I'm going to tie it in, and it's also some of the feathers are really delicate on here, and some of them aren't. This one is not. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it in by the tip. So let me get my feather prepped, just like this. And I want to lay it with the curve over the top of the fly. Okay, and go ahead and tie it in right there. And then I can bring this back and tie it down again, which will make it a little bit sturdier. Had just a little too much coffee this morning. Okay, now I'm going to take a hackle plier. Okay, drop that out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to put it on just like any soft hackle. I'm going to bring it up. Okay, now I'm going to come in and tie off my stem. Cut that off. Okay, now I just need to put a decent head on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and whip finish. I want a little bit of bulk to my head. Okay, and I'm going to just put some UV cement. So I've been using this Solarez Bone Dry. Love the brush. Goes right where I want it, which is not in the eye. Unless I'm going to give this fly to somebody else. Then I'll put it in the eye. Okay. And that is a Shakey Bealy. Thanks for watching.